Hello and welcome, Kerry here from Healing Humanity, and we're live for our Carnivore Q&A Thursday night. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be answering some questions, and we've got an awesome panel for you here. We've got Adam Lacey from Carnivore Today. How's it going, Adam?
I'm doing great, Kerry. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ashley, Carnivore Brothers.
Hey, hello
Dr.
everyone.
Nelson, the real Dr. Nelson. Oh, I think you're
muted.
muted, Dr. Nelson.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
There he is.
Good night,
Hello.
everyone. Hello.
Hello. And Lynn at Midlife Carnivore. How's it going, Lynn?
Great. 2-year carniversary today.
2 years for Lynn. Everyone give her a big
nice.
congratulations in the chat. Awesome. Well, we're going to be doing some giveaways. Why don't we kick things off by announcing the first giveaway? We are going to give away, let's see, where is it here? Hashtag ribeye. If you guys have a question for the panel here, post it with hashtag ribeye, and we're going to be giving away, I think it's a blue Healing Humanity shirt, hashtag ribeye, and just make sure that you are following each of the individuals you see here on the panel tonight. There's a link in the description below. It just takes like 30 seconds. You can click and subscribe to their YouTube channel and check out what they're doing there. So post your best question with hashtag ribeye. We're going to get into your questions in just a minute. We're going to do a random drawing for that shirt. And we got an announcement. What do we got coming up, Ashley?
It's crazy. It's coming up in like what are we at? Like 8 days, 9 days? 9 days away. We're going to be in Seattle, Washington. Super excited. This is going to be such a good conference or meetup. I'm really excited. Dr. Baker, he's everybody should know Dr. Baker.
He's the man. If you don't know who he is,
he wrote the book, right? So
Yeah,
that's
literally.
it's great. So he's going to be there, and that I'm super excited to see. Of course, Bella, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson's going to be there, and then we've got some other guests too that are going to be really great, inspiring stories with Lash and Anthony Haydick. It's going to be really, really exciting to see their stories and hear all this transformation that they've seen. We're going up there because we're filming for the documentary, and you may want to say more about that, Kerry, but that's more filming going on, and we're going to do this meetup at the same time, and we're looking forward to meeting a bunch of people there. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, it's not too late. You can go to healinghumanity.movie/events. We do still have some tickets left, and then we're doing an after kind of a beach event at the beach there where we're going to do a little cookout there. So if you can make both of those events, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
And you know who's coming with?
Who?
Mrs.
Dr. Nelson?
Mrs. Dr. Nelson's coming.
Yay.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
somehow I never make it onto the thumbnail, but I'm speaking too.
Yeah, we gotta get
Lynn
on the thumbnail here. Let's go.
Yeah.
I haven't made it onto the last few thumbnails, even though I'm speaking.
We got Lynn's going to be speaking, and the audience is going to be incredible too. We were just talking to our friend Helen, who's going to be coming up, and everyone there is going to meet
You
Helen.
have her be the crowd cheerleader.
Yeah. So Helen's got some incredible carnivore energy, and yeah, as Ashley mentioned, we're going up there to film. We're wrapping up filming on the main documentary. We're filming Dr. Sean Baker. We're filming Stephen Lashbrook Lash. We're filming Anthony Haydick, and we're also filming Lynn's incredible story as well while we're up there. So really looking forward to all of that. And then we got another meetup coming up June 28th. Shout out Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, Boston meetup, June 28th. Professor Thomas Seyfried's going to be there. Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, Diane Ladd, MS. It's going to be incredible. There are all sorts of wonderful meetups. drkiltz.com, right on the homepage, and Kiltz Meetup. Is it kiltzmeetup.com?
Yep.
Shout out Dr. Kiltz, Kiltz Mighty Tribe, and there's a lot more. So if you guys are interested in joining a meetup, we always hear this thing after the fact. Man, I wish I knew about the meetups. We're telling you right now, there's a bunch of them all over the country. There's going to be one July 26th. That's a world famous Montello Theater. And if you want to register or attend any of those, you can't just show up. You've got to go to healinghumanity.movie/events to secure your spot.
Not related to Healing Humanity, I don't think, but Bella's also having one at the beginning of July.
Yeah.
And I heard something else somewhere in July as well. But yeah.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. That is SBG
Dot
dot
events.
events. SBG dot events, 4th of July, Bozeman, Montana. And
Yeah.
Dr. Chafee's going to be there, Bella, Dr. Baker, Dr. Kiltz, Todd Bachnes, Carnivore Ray. It's going to be something, so make sure you check that out. And Adam, can you shout out? There's so many things coming up. The last one is Hack Your Health. Do you remember the
Hack Your
details
Health.
for that one?
Hack Your Health, Tampa in November, and the code for that, if you're going to buy tickets, is HH Life. So I believe you get $100 off on your tickets if you use that code. So make sure you use that to save a few bucks.
Love it. Thank you. All right. Should we take some questions?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Remember, it's hashtag, what was it? Hashtag again?
Ribeye.
Ribeye.
Hashtag ribeye. Hashtag ribeye. Got a lot of, there we go. We're tracking now. So hashtag ribeye. We got 31 entries so far. Post your best question with hashtag ribeye. The Feral Grandma says, Dr. Nelson is amazing. I understand better why I'm stalled and low energy since my stroke. I needed that. Shout out Dr. Nelson.
Yay.
We got Marlon as a new member. Thank you, Marlon, for that. Really appreciate that. Every penny we get from the memberships goes towards the documentary. Question from Julia, hashtag ribeye. Constant headaches on carnivore, question mark.
My first thought is fluid or electrolytes. What do you think, Dr. Nelson?
That would probably be one of the first things you check. Are you having electrolytes? She didn't mention anything. Are you having enough fluids in general? That could be a reason for headaches. Whenever you change your diet, headaches might be something that happens regardless of where you're going in your diet, any change, because your body might complain about whatever you're doing. But yeah, fatigue, headaches, general uneasiness, general malaise, all these things might be hydration problems or electrolyte problems.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Often when you're getting rid of inflammation, you're urinating more, often, urinating out a lot of electrolytes, more of the fluid. And, we don't realize maybe how much fluid is in vegetables and fruit that we eat. So you need to make sure we're replacing that fluid and probably drink a little bit more. And of course, I always, whenever someone has saying, oh, I'm doing all that and I'm still having problems, you can always see, are you eating dairy? Could it be an issue with dairy, or could it be histamine? Do you need to go low histamine? Do you need to go to a lion diet? So those are a few options, few thoughts.
All right, we got a question from Bird Legs next. I'm carnivore and worried about my cholesterol. The number is 272.
Despite what you hear, there's really no absolute, there's no correlation really with heart disease and total cholesterol. There might be some associated risk with some of the LDL cholesterol, in particular, the small dense particles. But more important than your total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, which I don't think it's, okay, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I don't think it's a big deal. More important is what are your triglycerides? Mm-hmm. What is your HDL? Are you showing signs of insulin insensitivity, otherwise known as insulin resistance? Are your blood sugars okay? Those things carry more risk, all of them, much more than worrying about your cholesterol, total or LDL.
Yeah, and if your doctor will do an advanced lipid panel, you will see that, and I had one done, and because my cholesterol was up, and it turns out that it was all the big dense, or not the dense, the small dense particles. It was the big fluffy particles. A lot of people don't realize that LDL cholesterol is not just, there's particle sizes. And so the doctor gets one number, but that number is comprised of different types of and different sizes of LDL cholesterol. So the doctor doesn't know how much of each you have. The dense particles are the ones that carry some cardiovascular risk, and those go up when you eat carbohydrates. The big fluffy particles are the particles that have no cardiovascular risk, and they go up when you take the carbs away. So if you can get that test, you'll probably see that you have the big fluffy particles, and they don't carry cardiovascular risk. And unfortunately, with statins, and the doctor's first thing is, oh, put you on a statin. The statin, and the statin lowers the cholesterol. Well, it's barely touching the dense particles. It's lowering those particles that are big, fluffy, have no cardiovascular risk. Plus, there's all the side effects. And not sure of your age, but particularly once you get past 60, 65 years old, the data shows that higher cholesterol is associated with lower all-cause mortality, lower risk of stroke, heart attack, Alzheimer's, all these other old age diseases. And so it's actually beneficial to have higher cholesterol.
We got a happy carniversary, Lynn. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jill. See you in Seattle next week.
By the way, today it is her carniversary, but it's 700 days exactly for me.
Yay.
It's 8:01 for me. This is a milestone day here. Nice. Mick says, hashtag ribeye. Again, please post your best question with hashtag ribeye. We're going to be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in just a few minutes. Do you calculate ratios of fat protein in calories or in grams?
Calories. You don't want to do grams, because if you're trying to get 75, 80% fat and go with grams, you're going to be eating a big old plate of butter. There's a lot more calories in butter than in protein, and so you definitely count it in calories. And ChatGPT is really good. To me, that's replaced any other calorie counter. I just tell ChatGPT, hey, this is what I'm eating. This is what I have on hand. How much do I need to eat to keep this ratio? And it'll tell me.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
Carnivore Cash is asking, my wife has hypothyroidism. I think iodine supplement. She thinks it can hurt her. What say you?
Sounds like a Dr. Nelson question.
I don't think it would help hurt her. There are some autoimmune. There's a controversy. Let's put it that way. Some people think taking iodine might hurt a lot of people. In particular, Dr. Brownstein, that's his name.
David
He's
Brownstein.
written several books. I do have one of his books somewhere around. I read it probably 20 years ago. He uses it a lot, but the main thing that she needs to do is lower the carbohydrates and increase the fat, and that will probably help hyper and hypothyroidism. You might not be able to get off medication, which is another issue, but I only hear improvements in thyroid function. So,
yeah, and if there's any worry about it, you can order. In Dr. Brownstein's book, he has in the appendix, he lists a couple of labs where you can order an iodine loading test. It's only $70, and there's an FFP lab. They're at ffplab.org, and then there's a Hakala Labs, HAKALA, and they'll send you a kit that you can do at home. And it's basically take 50 milligrams of iodine, and then you collect urine. And if you're sufficient with your iodine, you will excrete at least 90% of the iodine that you take. So that might help her to see if she's deficient, make her feel better.
Many plants are goitrogenic and will cause dysfunction. Oxalate. We just had Sally Norton this morning in our live in the morning. That might be a problem with the thyroid as well.
All right, good stuff. We got T-Bo asking, Kerry, when will the documentary be finished?
This is a mandatory question.
every stream. 2026. We're aiming for 2026. The good news is I'm so excited. We are on the home stretch. I'd say 96% of the interviews are filmed and done, and we're going 1 week from today. We're going to film in Washington, Dr. Baker, Lynn, Stephen Lashbrook, and Anthony Haydick, and we'll be wrapping up filming for the main documentary, and hopefully, God willing, moving on after that to filming for the series. But I'm really excited because I don't even know, it's going to be like 60 interviews or something at that point. And a couple of those interviews we're following individuals over the course of an entire year, which makes it take a lot longer to finish a documentary like that. When we're talking
Kerry,
about,
what's a normal amount of time to do a documentary? Do you know?
well, we're at about 2 years now, and everybody's really excited about it, which I love. I am too. But that's really not that uncommon. I'm not going to name names, but there's another documentary. I think I've been working on for like 6 years now. It's just, even with a regular documentary, it could take a year or two. But again, the fact that we followed some individuals over the course of a year, where literally it's day one, you start filming, and now you have to wait an entire year to go back and film them again. It makes things a little bit more complicated, but it'll be worth the wait. I think some of the stories we have are just really inspiring, really incredible. So looking forward to sharing it with the world. And the other thing that's really cool is, like I mentioned, we're excited about doing the Healing Humanity series, and we have quite a bit of that already filmed. We have quite a bit interviews in terms of cancer, for example, where we could have those episodes completed. It's just that we're allocating our time, resources, and budget to finishing the main documentary first. So, all right. Carnivore Coach Lisa said, I'll be in Wisconsin, Kerry. So Coach Lisa is going to be joining us at our Montello meetup,
Awesome.
which is incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Lisa. She is amazing. Someone's asking, what is the site for tickets in Tampa for November? That is hackyourhealth.com. Hackyourhealth.com.
Yep.
And for those that haven't heard yet, I don't know if he's in the chat now, but our good friend Bill from Alaska.
I just saw him. He's in the chat.
He's in the chat. Bill has entered the building. Bill is going to be joining us in Tampa in November for Hack Your Health. Adam and I will be on stage, and Bill's going to come up on stage and share his incredibly inspiring story. And for those that are want the documentary done sooner, you can all blame Bill Knott for that, because he took we had to wait a year for this guy. I'm just joking, of course. But check out Bill's YouTube channel if you guys aren't watching. It's incredible. I'm so excited that we're going to see Bill out there at Hack Your Health. He's gonna need some security guards when he walks in that building.
I always feel so blessed after I've watched one of his videos.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's therapeutic in some way.
It is. It's like a spiritual experience.
Everyone check out Bill Knott on YouTube. Hey, it's our friend Rose. Rose, my 8-year-old granddaughter, has been having headaches as well on keto carnivore. I think she may not be eating enough fat.
Again, it could be fluid.
Yeah, fluid or electrolyte imbalance,
salt, yeah.
because she's young. She's younger, so I'm sure she's probably a lot more active.
Yeah,
and maybe losing more water or electrolytes. So
yeah, probably.
And also depends what she's eating. Even at that age, if you're eating keto, are you having some carbs above 30, 50, 100? Most children are metabolically healthier than the adults, but hydration and electrolytes, which is a basic thing. Maybe she's not eating enough, drinking enough. Water never moves by itself. Like when you urinate, it pulls sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium, all those electrolytes into the urine, because you don't have just water anywhere in your body.
Where's the beef? Okay, so whose meetup is better? Adam, that's a question for you. They're all, we love them all the same. They're all great. Like if you haven't been to a meetup, they're all amazing. They're wonderful.
They all are.
I really don't think there's one that's per se better. I guess it's what you're looking for.
There is. Anyone that Kerry Man is at.
Yeah,
he's at all of them. So
they're different. Some of the meetups are different, which is nice. So like a lot of our meetups, if you come to one of our meetups, we really focus on kind of like what we're doing with our documentaries. We focus on the individual story and the inspiring stories, and hopefully inspire people through those stories. And then there's other meetups where you can go get a lesson or learn about something more deeply. So I think they're all pretty awesome. If you haven't been to any meetup, just go to any meetup.
And there's a lot, even just small meetups that are happening. I mean, this is a movement that is happening. And so find in your local area meetups that are happening, because it's just community is the biggest thing, I think, with the meetups. It's just getting to be with other like-minded carnivores and tell your story a little bit, find out about others. It's really inspiring. It really is.
And if you want to learn from, professional lecturers, Hack Your Health in November in Tampa, that's a great one. There is Keto Orlando in August. There is Low Carb USA in San Diego. A lot of the doctors will be, as a matter of fact, Dr. Kills will be speaking in both of those.
There you go.
There's Low Carb for Better Health in September.
That's in September.
Mm-hmm.
That one is in Tennessee.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's Amanda Decker.
Dr. Berry.
Dr. Berry will be there.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
GFG Homestead. Question: can carnivore lifestyle reduce upper or lower aortic aneurysms?
Ooh, we just got that answer on one of our Zoom calls last week. Do you remember, Kerry?
I remember it coming up, but honestly, I don't remember the answer.
The answer was yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, we have a member on our site who has I believe it's an upper aortic aneurysm, and it just recently had the most recent scan, just to you got to get scanned every once periodically to monitor it, and it shrunk. It went down. It's actually now to the point for her where she doesn't need any more monitoring. I think they might do one more just to make sure that it stays small, but she's below that threshold now where it doesn't need any monitoring.
So the biggest risk for aneurysms to burst, which is the really bad thing that can happen at the end, is blood pressure. So if you reduce blood pressure, which almost universally, not everybody unfortunately, but almost universally, once you switch to a very low carbohydrate or no carbs diet, carnivore, your blood pressure gets better, and that decreases your risk of that aneurysm getting bigger and bursting.
It's amazing what heals on carnivore. Good questions. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's a great question. Lynn's Lose It. What are some books the panel recommends as good reads, carnivore mindset, faith, whatever topic?
Oh, Georgia Ede, Change Your Diet, Change Your Life is amazing. That's probably one of my top recommends.
Yep.
What about you guys?
Couple of my favorite ones are The Big Fat Surprise from Nina Teicholz. That one is really, really good. And the other one that comes to mind that's sort of a mindset or a practice is Emotional Intelligence 2.0. That one is really, really good. So I definitely would suggest checking that one out.
Yeah, I got to shout out my friend Kim. We had on our membership site too. She wrote the book Return to Simple, A Journey of Hope and Truth. It's on Amazon, and She's a new author, and she's a best-selling author now. The book is going crazy on Amazon. It's such a good book. If you enjoy Dr. Ken Berry, I know it's kind of a weird segue, but if you enjoy Dr. Ken Berry, I think you'll like the book because it's just common sense, simple, talks about nutrition and returning to simple in all aspects of your life. I'd highly recommend it.
I heard about that. I'm anxious to read that one. Return to Simple.
Yeah, it's really good. I was joking around about it. I didn't have much time to read it. I'm just going to read the first chapter, and I couldn't put it down. It's one of those things where, everyone thinks carnivore's insane and crazy. If they were to read that book, they'd be like, this isn't so crazy. This actually makes a lot of sense. This is kind of perfectly simple. So it's really well done. All right, let's see. Hashtag ribeye. Can you explain insulin resistance in a simple, easy way to understand what it is and how you can tell if you have it?
Dr. Nelson, can you do easier, or do we need a nurse to do easy?
I've tried. I
You
think
want a
it's
doctor
simple.
answer, or do you want a nurse answer?
I think it's a simple. I think it can be explained very simply. Most people understand it because when I explain this to patients, I try to make it as simple as possible. Chronic excessive carbohydrate consumption, especially for years, and there are studies that have shown that if you're eating more than 100 grams a day on a regular basis, you're going to end up having diabetes, period. Okay? But chronic excessive carbohydrate consumption, what's that? Well, where the carbohydrates come from, mostly from plants. So even if you're low carb keto, you're consuming some plants, which is fine. But excess carbohydrates causes your body to try to handle those carbohydrates with insulin. The job of insulin is to handle those carbohydrates. It does a bunch of things in the body, but it's not that the insulin is broken, is that you are putting too many carbohydrates, like Professor Bart says, you're putting too many carbohydrates down your throat, right? So insulin goes up to handle the load, and it comes down. But then if you're eating 6 to 7 times a day or 15 times a day, like some studies show, and you're putting mostly carbohydrates down your throat, your insulin keeps being secreted, and at some point your body stops listening to it. Whether it's the explanation of what's happening, there's more than one explanation or theory out there. It doesn't happen. The results is the same. You end up having excessive amounts of insulin in your body. If you listen to Dr. Bigman, basically hyperinsulinemia is the other side of the coin of insulin resistance. You don't have one without the other. And eventually your blood sugars go up. Eventually your insulin stops taking that blood glucose down. Your body's not responding like normally does. And high glucose levels are inflammatory. High insulin levels are inflammatory. And this is where all the inflammation starts. Cardiovascular events, the inner layer of the arteries is the first thing to get inflamed, which is the glycocalyx covering the inside layers of the arteries. And that unleashes the whole chain of events that leads to atherosclerosis, for example. Is cholesterol involved with that? Yes, it's involved. But that was not the initial event, the initial insult.
So I'll interpret that from a nurse. So this is, if I have a patient who's like, I don't know what the doctor's talking about. So this is what I would tell you if you want it really simple. All right. Every time you eat, your blood sugars spikes. Insulin's job is to help push that glucose into your cells. But if you eat too much carbs, your cells are finally going, enough already. I've got way more glucose than I'm ever going to be able to use. And it just puts a block and says no more. And insulin will not let insulin do its job. So you got all this insulin floating around in your body. Your body's still going to keep producing it. You got all of it floating around your body, causing all that damage that Dr. Nelson just talked about. And that's what the resistance is. It's your cells saying enough. No more. I am not going to listen to the insulin anymore telling me to open up and let the glucose in. How do you know you have it? You can get tested. You can get a fasting insulin test, and that will tell you. That's like the easiest way.
Good stuff. All right, should we do the giveaway? Hashtag Ribeye, we're giving away a Healing Humanity shirt. Here we go. The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt, I believe in blue.
Blue.
Dr. Nelson.
Dr. Nelson.
Finally, I win something.
I'm sorry, you're disqualified because you're on the panel.
Dr. Nelson,
did
you put hashtag ribeye in the comments?
I'm telling you, I think he does every time.
He does.
We'll be seeing each other next week, so
we'll give you one
We'll
more.
deliver it to you in person.
By the way,
a pink one.
We're talking about hyperinsulinemia. Let me read you this list, please. Insulin insensitivity, weight gain and obesity, increased visceral fat storage, hypertension, increased triglycerides, decreased HDL, increased small dense LDL particles, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, atherosclerosis, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, increased inflammation, increased risk of cardiovascular disease, increased risk of stroke. You want me to give there? I got 30 or more on that list.
So if you have any
almost
chronic illness, you're probably
almost every chronic disease that we suffer from probably are in that list.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. We're going to do one more giveaway, so make sure to post your best question with hashtag life. Hashtag life. We're giving away a 30-day free membership, 1 month to healinghumanity.life. And if you don't win this and you're interested in joining us, there is a promo code down below, life525 for 50% off your first month. It's a great community. If you need more community as you're starting out on carnivore, we have courses, we have community, we have like 12 Zoom calls a week, doctors, experts. We just got off a call before this one, our Thursday Inspire Together, where we share inspiring stories of healing and we share with the group, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're interested in joining us, healinghumanity.life, promo code life525, or post your best question with hashtag life.
What do we do if Dr. Nelson wins that one?
Well, he was the first one to put it in the comments, so
we're going to have to tell him to quit typing the hashtag in.
First of all, if any of you listening here come to the Seattle meetup, the first person to ask me for the shirt, I will give them. My shirt.
Right off his back.
Right off his back.
I will take the shirt off my back and give it to you.
I'll have my camera ready for
not that much. I'll have it in my hand.
All right. Tater K says, I have dentures. I'm having trouble eating enough. Any suggestions?
Lots of eggs. Eggs are good. Butter would be good for that. What else, guys?
Slow cooked meat. So
slow cooked meat.
Bone broth.
That's the easiest way to get meat down, I think, is when it's slow cooked and soft.
Yeah, broth is really a good suggestion to get the bone broth.
And even if you're gonna eat a steak, one of the things you should have is a very sharp knife, and you can slice your steaks very thinly, and you can barely would need to chew that. That might be helpful. I don't use sous vide, but I don't have one. I would use it, but sous vide would be from others here have it, right? Some sous vide, very soft, tenderizing.
Yep.
And if not eating enough means still hungry, then increasing the fat, which should be pretty easy to eat, might help with that, because we didn't really get a definition of what not eating enough means to you. So if that means you're still hungry,
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
maybe try
he meant total amount of food because of the chewing problem. So
yeah. So maybe if you're still hungry, maybe try increasing the fat. Yeah.
Sisse, Kerry, have you interviewed people from overseas for the documentary? Absolutely, we have. That was the other reason the documentary's taken a little while. We've been traveling all over the world. We filmed in the UK. We filmed Lee Copus, Kent Carnivore on YouTube. We filmed Alex Cannon. We filmed
Lindy,
Lindy in
Limit,
Australia.
Australia.
Limitless Lindy in
over two
Australia. We
separate
filmed
seas.
Dr. Chafee in Australia. We filmed Dave Mack in Australia. We filmed Lauren Tucker in the UK. I guess not overseas, but our neighbors to the north. We filmed quite a bit in Canada as well, and all over the United States. Yeah, it's healing humanity all over the world, not just America for sure. Oma is asking, why is there such a push on beef as opposed to ruminants in general? Lamb has more protein fat per equal weight. I'm sure beef wasn't readily available as other ruminants of thousands of years ago.
it's all
I
good.
think it's all good. I like lamb. Well, there's a lot of people who don't like the taste of lamb, and maybe I think it's cultural for us. Maybe here in the US, we don't necessarily eat lamb as much as we eat beef. But I'm guessing taste might be a big factor, and just the fact that it's more normal for us. But I bought from my local rancher. I buy them. I buy sheep, and I have them in my freezer right now.
Yeah. I grew up eating goat.
Yeah, lamb's less expensive than beef.
It's not as readily available though, so that's the
Well, on my Sam's, all lamb cuts are cheaper than any beef, almost any beef.
Yeah, at Costco as well.
Yeah,
and they actually have a decent variety at Costco.
Wow, we got a $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Crap out.
Nice.
08. To the panel, thank you for everything. My girlfriend and I have reversed her pre-diabetes, corrected her thyroid, gotten her off Adderall because ADHD is now minimal. Her female pattern baldness grew back, and at 50 years old, she got her cycle back.
Wow.
That is incredible.
So be careful.
Hopefully that's a good thing, right? Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible.
That's great.
Thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate it. And thank you also for sharing the good news. We always love to hear stories like that.
Wasn't it Dr. Barry that said he had a 55-year-old patient that was mad at him because she got pregnant?
Yep. Yeah, that was in his book.
Wasn't his fault.
Carnivore.
Teresa is asking, what does fat adapted mean?
The short version is, eating high fat and not developing any adverse side effects from that. Once you're able to eat enough fat and not suffer with gastrointestinal issues, for example, maybe that's the simplest answer.
Yeah, a lot of people find that it goes right through them at the beginning, or they have acid reflux at the beginning.
Yeah, I always learned it or my understanding is that when your body's using the fat now as fuel for your body and burning fat instead of the carbohydrates.
Yeah, that's the technical answer. Yeah. So checking ketones. So that I see it as two ways. There's two ways of being adapted. There's the fact that you're utilizing it, and you can check your ketones to figure that out. And then there's just the physiological adaptation that Dr. Nelson was talking about, that your gut is handling it well.
All right. Speaking of technical questions, we have a question here for Adam. At what point in your carnivore journey were you able to once again trust your farts?
Exactly 30.5 days. So no less.
He's speaking the truth. Never trust a carnivore fart. Never trust a fasting fart either, by the way.
True story.
Oh, that is so true. I never knew fasting could do that to you.
Good questions. Oh, wow. Nina, me.
Yes.
My aneurysm shrunk 4.0 centimeters to 3.8. I monitor my blood pressure.
Yeah, I
All right,
wasn't going to say
Nina.
who, Nina, but I'm glad you came forward and said it was you. So
That is amazing. That is just incredible what heals on carnivore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're answering your questions. #life. We're giving away a Healing Humanity membership. Let's see. Carnivore Cash is asking, what should I do first to plan a meetup in Redway, Minneapolis, or Rochester, Minnesota? Ashley, you got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, anytime I hear of anyone who, I'm in the Dallas area, so anytime I hear of anyone in the Dallas area says Texas, I try to connect with them via online, try and get an email or something like that. And I built an email list personally. That's what I did to start doing our meetups here locally, because you got to have those connections. But word of mouth will grow. And if you ever do organize a meetup, usually start it small, but we're always happy to help shout them out too. So if you have something, you can get us the information too. We'll be happy to shout them out. We may not be able to make every single one of them, obviously, with the filming is the priority with the documentary. So we try to base our meetups around where we're going to film, but we're happy to shout them out. In fact, we're getting more and more, aren't we, Kerry? We're hearing several of them that are, I think Carnivore's grandma, Robin's going to be hosting one here pretty soon. She's doing that one on her own. There's several others that I saw Lash make in the comments that Dr. Lisa Wiederman and Courtney Luna's doing one in Southern California. So just getting on here, spreading the information in the chats and things like that is really, really helpful. And if you can plan it out in advance, give some people a little bit of advance warning. That's another really good tip, because sometimes even if we plan it for 3 months, we still hear about those who say, oh, I didn't even know what was going on. So trying to get the word out early, if possible, is great.
And even if if it's 2 people,
Yeah.
Sharing a meal, that's a meetup.
You know what, Dr. Nelson, that's a great point. One of my favorite meetups that I had was with 2 other individuals that we met up at a barbecue restaurant and shared some meat together. I hadn't ever really met either one of them, and it was great. We had a great conversation for about 2 hours, had a great time.
I've been to meetups where they say, bring your non-carnivore friends. We end up with more people, and it's really cool because you get to share your story with somebody and they are often blown away. That's how I've had people who decide to try carnivore because they came to a meetup with a friend. So leave it open for people.
All right, we got another question for Adam, but I think this is a better question for Adam. Adam was wondering if Adam still does not consume salt and how he has made out without that side effects. Does he take anything to get electrolytes, do raw meat?
That's a good question. I was literally just thinking about that today. And because I have introduced salt back into my diet, not a ton, and I'm not having issues with it like I was before. So, I thought maybe I should probably do an update video on that. And interestingly enough, if I could pronounce that correctly, I had the salt on raw meat today while I had this thought. So it's very interesting that this comment came up. And I tried chuck roast that I put in the fridge and dry aged for a couple days, and literally just sliced it up and ate it. And I was very surprised it was actually pretty good, and it was tender. So I expected it to be really, really tough, not cooked for a very long time like I normally do with sous vide or cook it in the crock pot. And I haven't keeled over yet. So I'm definitely going to experiment more with trying more and more of the raw meat and see how that goes and give everybody an update. But I feel great after eating it.
I did the exact same thing with picanha yesterday.
Nice. How was it?
It's great. My son thought I was crazy, but
right. My wife thinks I'm crazy too.
Speaking of meetups, Lash has an announcement. Southern California Carnivore Meetup Alert, June 21st in Palm Springs, hosted by Dr. Lisa Wiedemann and Courtney Luna. Lash will also be sharing his story, and all proceeds go to his GoFundMe.
Oh, good.
Glad you found that comment. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right.
I'm guessing that's posted on Dr. Wiedemann's website, maybe.
I was just going to ask, Lash, maybe leave a comment down below. Where can they find more information? Probably Dr. Lisa, which is carnivoredoctor.com, I think is her website. Carrie Duffy, how many element packets are too many to have in one day? 3, 4?
Dr. Nelson, that's a Nelson.
All right. So how much sodium you have in a day is going to again depend on who you are. You have to find your sweet spot. But most people on carnivore probably and any low carb diet probably have between 3 to 7,000 milligrams of sodium in particular. There are some people that have 12,000 or 12 grams of salt. Dave Feldman is that person that I've heard. So between 3 and 7,000 milligrams of sodium, whatever chloride comes with that, basically, and about half to a quarter of that in the potassium. If you look at the element amounts, it has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 of potassium, and 50 or 60 of magnesium,
60.
I believe. 60 of magnesium. And if you just keep those proportions, you can customize your own. I take my magnesium separately because it helps me for cramps. I've had cramps before carnivore keto. So the magnesium keeps me from having cramps. And then I just salt the meat to taste. I do put salt whenever I'm drinking any type of liquid water, whatever. I do put salt in it. I put a little bit of potassium and even magnesium on this particular bottle here. You probably shouldn't be drinking. It's okay to drink water by itself, but putting some in any water that you drink probably is a good idea. The answer, I don't know the answer for you. How many packets should you have a day? Well, if I were going to use that per packet, a lot of people use 2 a day, 1 a day. I don't know if I would go beyond that.
Hey, we got our friend Lindsay from our healinghumanity.life site. She's always got great questions.
Hey, Lindsay.
What is something you wish you knew when you first started carnivore?
I got to think about that one. Somebody else go first.
One thing is, as our good friend Dr. Kiltz taught me early on, it should be called fativore. It's not just about eating lean protein and lean meats. It's really about getting enough fat. The other thing I'd say too is I wish I knew this about carnivore, that it's really not like a weight loss regimen diet. Everyone calls it carnivore diet. It's really more about just literally healing everything, and then you kind of go down to your natural weight because of it, which is pretty awesome. But I think a lot of people's entry into carnivore is maybe because of weight.
Many underweight people use it to gain weight.
Right. That was going to be my answer, because I've been on it twice. This is the second time this 2 years, but the first time was only for 6 weeks, and it was back in 2021. And because that was when I first started carnivore, I wish I knew it was about more than weight loss. I wish I knew that it was about healing illnesses. And I think I probably would have not quit. It hopefully wouldn't have quit if I had known that.
All right. We had a question similar to this last week. We didn't get to it. What is the sugar diet noise all about?
I don't even want to look at it.
I watched a video this week with Bart K, and of course he just, mocking the guy who was promoting it. But, I didn't get to the point. I got kind of a little bit tired of watching him mock the guy, and I didn't watch the rest of it. I was really hoping for a little bit of more like, why are people doing this? But one thing that it was interesting is the guy who was promoting it, Bart K mentioned, the whole time he's talking, he's out of breath. And I noticed that too. I was like, why is this guy out of breath? At first I thought maybe it's because he was act like he'd been working out, but then as he continued to talk, he was still out of breath. And so I don't know what the rationale is around it. but everything that is wrong with nutrition advice seems to be a red flag here.
Yeah, we go back to that insulin resistance comment earlier and the list that Dr. Nelson read off, and like, I just can't imagine that putting that much sugar into your body is going to result in anything positive. It's, I mean, you're changing your diet temporarily, so maybe you see some initial impact from that, but my goodness, the long-term effects have got to be terrible.
Oh my word.
I know everyone here is over 40 and up in the panel, and most of the listeners are adults, I think. How many diets have you seen in your lifetime on TV, announced ads? They come and go, and you can probably lose weight with all of them. We're talking about a permanent change on your way of eating that's going to have long-lasting effects on your health. When we're talking about cutting out the carbs, either to a minimum or completely, I don't, like I said, I am so not interested in even learning about it. There have been other similar diets in the past, sugar and rice, the rice diet. Not interested.
But if you look at the nutrient profile of sugar, it's virtually non-existent. And, so you eat sugar, and obviously when they promote sugar, this guy was talking about, oh, eat candy, it's not just sugar, it's all the other garbage too. And the nutrient profile is like absent. Like there's nothing that's going to benefit you. Maybe the glucose you all need glucose, but your body produces all you need. You don't need to add extra glucose. So it's unlike what we're doing. We actually have a full nutrient profile.
Right.
So it's like going to something that's devoid of nutrients. It doesn't make any sense at all. And it's going to spike your blood sugar like crazy.
Yeah. And the thing that's crazy with it for me too is, I believe a big reason I was overweight and unhealthy and sick is because of addiction. And you look around in the world right now, it's like 9 out of 10 people have poor metabolic health. 70% of people are overweight. If you equate that addiction to, like, say 90% of people walking around America right now are alcoholics, you wouldn't suggest a alcohol diet to them.
Right.
It's complete craziness. It's like, what could possibly go wrong? Give people that are highly addicted to sugar and carbs a whole bunch of sugar and say that's a diet. That's just craziness. So, all right. Question from Charity. Not sure how to get over a stall.
Well, the way I did it was to vary the macros, the quantities, start switching things up, do a little bit of fasting and exercise. So your body can get stuck if you keep eating the same thing all the time and you're kind of stuck with the same macros, the same quantity, and your same activity level. So you got to start mixing things up. That definitely worked for me.
All right. Sorry, trying to find a good question here that we haven't.
There was a question about gluconeogenesis, which is
there we go.
That Lynn just mentioned, not with the word, but she was mentioning your body makes all the glucose you want. So first of all, gluconeogenesis is a normal process that happens on everyone. Okay, so it's not something that only happens in certain people. Or, however, the way your body reacts to making new glucose is different depending on how sensitive you are to the insulin that is being produced. So some people complain about in the morning, the dawn effect. Well, your body's not handling the increase in blood sugars, which normally happens because your improper response to insulin, which is not being sensitive to it. So your body makes glucose when it needs. It uses your fat. It can use your proteins. Even if you're not giving it any carbohydrates, your body will make glucose when it needs to. Okay, that's gluconeogenesis, out of new glucose out of the fat and proteins in your diet or in your body. So it's a normal process. What you need to think about is how your body reacts to that input of glucose. If you're not handling, don't worry about your body producing glucose. Worry about what you do to fight that insulin insensitivity you're having.
All right. And we've got a super chat from Lost One, $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Been carnivore 6 months and working out, down 35 pounds and lean at 41. Help me give up drinking 12 beers a day. I feel great. Love your channel. Wow.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Love it.
Congratulations, Lost One. Thank you for sharing the good news. Thank you for the super chat, and happy to hear you found healing. That's incredible. All right. Well, we're getting near the end of the hour. We're going to do the drawing for the 1 month free membership to healinghumanity.life. Before we do that, anyone here on the panel got anything exciting coming up that you want to mention or shout out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing my first flight with my husband and for you guys to film. I'm excited. So that's coming up next weekend.
We're excited too.
Amazing.
For those that don't know, we're filming Lynn for our Healing Humanity documentary series. And yeah, you're going to be flying with your husband for the first time ever, right?
Yeah, on his plane. So
on his plane,
it's not like I've never flown before, but yeah, he's been flying since we met. In September will be 35 years that we've been married, and I've never flown with him. I could not fit in his airplane. So now I do. And yes, and I'm saving the first flight for you guys to film. And so
amazing.
We appreciate it. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be exciting. We look forward to it. Adam, Ashley, Dr. Nelson, anything else you want to shout out before we?
Nelson has some.
Well, I'll be seeing you all in Seattle and later in the month in Boston. Get tickets for those events if you live close. If you have to travel just a couple of hours, especially, that will be great. The wife is planning to go with me to both of those.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow at 6 a.m. we have Booby Goats as our guest. I have Helen coming back from Seattle. I'll have Helen.
Oh, nice.
Tuesday, 6 a.m. every morning, Tuesdays and Thursday, 3 p.m. Kilt's Mighty Tribe.
Good stuff. All right, should we do the drawing?
Yep.
And if you don't win the drawing, as I mentioned earlier, you can get 50% off right now. Healinghumanity.life. If we didn't get to your questions, we apologize, but we do a Q&A every week. One of our 12 Zoom calls we do per week, so consider joining us over there. Here we go. #life. Let's see if Dr. Nelson wins twice in one day.
Well, I didn't put it.
Yeah, you did.
The winner, Charity.
Hey.
Charity S, congratulations. You've won a 30-day free membership to healinghumanity.life. Adam, how can Charity claim her membership?
Well, Kerry, Charity S can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will promptly send you your coupon code, and we look forward to seeing you in the community. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well, thank you guys so much for the whole panel here. We appreciate you. Thank you all for all of your wonderful questions. I guess we're going to have to see about next week. We normally do this every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, so stay tuned. Might be a little bit different next week because we're going to be in Washington filming for the documentary. But otherwise, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.